Next.
Hi, I'm Hollis Silverman.
And I'm Dr. Bruno.
And today we're going to be talking about the differences between Bipolar I and Bipolar II. Now, I'm a clinical director at an intensive outpatient program, and I have a lot of clients who always ask me what the difference is between Bipolar I and Bipolar II. So today, I thought it would be very helpful for you guys out there to learn about the difference between Bipolar I and Bipolar II. So really, there is just one main difference between Bipolar I and Bipolar II. Somebody that has, it's a manic episode. So in Bipolar I, somebody that has a manic episode, they're gonna have psychosis. Whereas somebody that has Bipolar II, which is hypomanic, they don't experience that psychosis. When you have a manic episode, it usually lasts at least a week, and you can have symptomology such as
Paranoia,
lack of sleep,
delusions,
hallucinations,
auditory and visual. Those are more rare, but you can.
You can. A lot of grandiosity,
Irrational thinking.
ideas of reference.
Yeah, absolutely. Overspending. Like had a client that thought, oh, I don't need my house, I'm going to sell it. And then he sold his house, and then he became not manic and didn't have a place to live anymore.
You lack the ability to, in socializing and in occupational impairments.
And it just leads to a whole host of poor judgment. You might engage in unprotected sex. You might use unprotected or bad needles. You might leave the state. You might forget you have children. There's a whole bunch of things that could happen when you get into a manic state that has psychotic symptoms.
A lot of risky sexual behavior, as Dr. Bruno pointed out. That is a big one with Bipolar I and even Bipolar II, because in Bipolar II, there's people become very hypersexual. So it's really important to be aware of that and look out. If you're a practitioner, look out for your clients, and if you have family members or friends that you're noticing any of those symptoms, and especially even teens, if you're a parent, you know your kids, look out for those symptoms that we just mentioned as well.
Right. And with Bipolar II, they don't really have those lulls. Like with Bipolar I, they go to that manic episode, and then they go all the way down into a deep, deep depression where they might not get out of bed. Definitely they think of suicide. But with Bipolar II, sometimes the depression, and this is where it gets kind of murky, might not necessarily they don't want to get out of bed, but they're just irritable. So, and that irritability can also be a sign that they're going into a hypomanic state. So, but usually it's a signal that they're coming down and they're not in that same state.
Absolutely. And with Bipolar II, with the hypomania and the depression, usually their depression will be constant. So they'll be, kind of melancholy. They'll have maybe more of like a pessimistic attitude in terms of life. And so they'll be depressed more so than hypomanic. And you'll kind of see that in Bipolar II more so.
So what do you do with these two? Like, how do you treat them?
So with different medications is going to be very key in working with people with Bipolar I and Bipolar II. Because maybe with Bipolar I, they might not need a mood stabilizer or maybe a lower dosage of a mood stabilizer. And in Bipolar II, maybe they need a more heightened mood stabilizer as opposed to and a lower and more of a heightened antidepressant or an SSRI, so which is the same thing.
And it's always good for individuals with Bipolar I at minimums, and I would suggest with Bipolar II to have a therapist that they can access at all times. It's always good to have another set of eyes, even if you go see them once a month or every other month, just so you have that objective individual saying, what's going on here? Do you need to tweak your meds? And you need to check in. It's a good idea for a well-rounded treatment program.
Absolutely. A check-in, I agree, Dr. Bruno, is so vital, especially when if they've actually just had an episode. We want to prevent future hospitalization. So let's say that somebody did have an episode, they ended up in the hospital, maybe by Baker Act, or they voluntarily went in themselves, either way, and they come out. It's really crucial to keep a continuous, check-in with the therapist, just to monitor them and monitor medication with the psychiatrist. That's everything.
Insight is the key. I had an 18-year-old, 17-year-old, had her first manic episode in her senior year of high school. Amazing woman, had amazing insight for a 17-year-old, knew that this was not appropriate or the normal, and sought help with her parents, obviously, and stayed on medication, went right into college, graduated from college already. She's in graduate school now, and really has only had one manic episode, and that was because she decided after 4 years maybe she didn't have it, which is a curiosity that all individuals with bipolar have. So she went off of her meds, again became psychotic, and then went back on her meds, and she's been on her meds ever since. That was the key for her, and she's successful. She's working and successful and happy. So you can be happy, and you can work, and you can be successful if you have insight and help.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is a misconception with people. People are very scared sometimes when they have these labels, per se. And I would say, don't let that label, interfere with your goals and what you want to do with your life. Because even if you do have these mental health ailments, you can work through them, and getting help and insight, as Dr. Bruno mentioned. There's a lot of good practitioners out there. There's great help. And there's accessibility, because we have the internet, we have all these great resources. So use them. If you know somebody that needs help, maybe suggesting that they use them as well, because, as a community, we have to work together and, be there for each other.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. I'm Hollis Silverman.
And I'm Dr. Bruno.
Thank you.
Bye.